I recorded a whole video and my mic was on mute. YouTuber. I'm a professional. Oh man, I talked about so much, but let's do it again. Why don't we?
Hello, and welcome back to Nerddom. My name is Matt. Thank you so much for being with me today. And if you're a recent fan of the Dune franchise after the Denis Villeneuve movies, welcome to the club. Me too. Now, I did purchase the first 3 books from the Dune series. I haven't read them yet, so forgive me on that front. I'm not a Dune expert, professor, or any of that stuff. I'm kind of a Dune noob, one would say. If you are interested in some of the deep lore and someone who is more of a Dune expert, feel free to check out Quinn's Ideas. Super awesome channel. He goes through every single Dune book and he is super into all of this, knows a bunch about it. And he's gonna be following along the TV series as well. So feel free to give him a follow and a watch on his newest Dune Prophecy video. It's super eye-opening on where this series could be going. Now, watch out for spoilers if you care about that kind of thing. I mean, this is a prequel, so if you don't know about the spoilers in the future, I don't know. Which might be my first issue with all of this. I mean, it's kind of like House of the Dragon, except House of the Dragon was able to have these characters that you kind of care about, and you care about the political movings of all of them, and how do we get to Daenerys and Ares and all that stuff. Versus this, we know that 10,000 years we get to Paul Atreides, and this is the creation of the Bene Gesserit and the formation of the prophecy of the
Listen, Gabe!
And how they are expecting to put a woman onto the throne of the Imperium. This is supposed to be the Empress, not the Emperor. And then, of course, Duke Leto, Lady Jessica end up throwing a wrench in all of that. 10,000 years of it all. But this is going to be the beginning of the prophecy, the beginning of the DNA and pushing that line forward, working through all of this to create the Lisan al-Gaib. We're probably going to see spies of the Bene Gesserit going to different planets and spreading the word, that kind of thing, maybe even on Arrakis. But with that being said, the production value is awesome. I think they did a great job. You can totally see that they kind of let the Denis Villeneuve movies do all the heavy lifting for them, and they kind of take that and then take it all the way back in time. So the Bene Gesserit, their design is very brutalist. And you can kind of see that in the Denis Villeneuve movies, that maybe it's possible that that kind of shows how much the Bene Gesserit has influenced the entire galaxy, the entire Imperium, to change their architecture, the way they build ships, the way that their clothes look, that kind of thing. Versus right now, it's just after the Butlerian Jihad. So we have a little bit of elegance still, and the Bene Gesserit are kind of like the brutalist, Dune-looking things, but we kind of have this elegant, artistic world that's coming out of this time of war. And it's like a time of art and, you know, everyone kind of being happy, that kind of thing. And to be honest, the Butlerian Jihad would have been a really cool show. I think it would have just been like a war show, so think Terminator Salvation, but in the Dune universe. Write that down. And I mean, they got a tons of material to work with. They have 10,000 plus years, even after, if they wanted to work with. Even though I do want to see the next Dune movie and see what they do with that. I think the next Dune movie is going to be closer to this, which may scare some people. It has to do more with politics. It has to do more with moving around the houses and the different factions that are within the Imperium. And that's what the Bene Gesserit are doing here. They're moving through the Imperium, they're moving through the different houses, trying to set up the line to the Lisan al-Gaib, to the Chosen One, and they're going to, this is them making their move. This is them making the prophecy, per se. Travis Fimmell's character, who is either, he might not be what he seems to be. He says that he's a survivor, and it's quite possible that he isn't a survivor, but we'll see. This is the Dune universe, and if you know anything about the Dune universe, it gets kind of wacky. they barely scratch the surface in those movies. It gets pretty freaking wacky. But I'm kind of trying to go spoiler free on this one. If you're interested in the Dune universe, this may be a watch for you. If you're not, I'm not sure there's enough there to keep you attached to it. The characters are pretty surface level. The world is pretty surface level as well. It looks cool, it looks great, it looks expensive, but the characters so far are kind of just like meh. There's nothing really attaching you to it. And again, we're talking about the prequel like House of the Dragon. That got you attached to it. If you look at the first episode of Game of Thrones, that did a lot of character work first before the world building. We looked at the Starks, we looked at their relationships between each other as a family, and that a family bond is kind of easy to attach to. Versus here, we have the Harkonnen woman who is in charge of the Bene Gesserit, and that was a pretty cool first scene. The whole beginning is pretty rad. I like the whole first 10 minutes. I think that's great. And then we have the Emperor, and the Emperor is marrying off his daughter to another duke for some ships for Arrakis. So it seems that he is in a desperate situation kind of to get Arrakis under control, and this is House Carino. So how long has House Carino been the line of emperors? I'm not sure. Pretty cool though, pretty cool stuff. And there's a couple of weak points. The daughter of the emperor and her sword duel with I think we find out that he is an Atreides. It's kind of weak. The choreography is kind of weak. It's kind of like, nah, they're not even trying. I know it's supposed to be like Gurney and Paul in the movie or in the book, but it's not to that level. I mean, they're kind of using the same, again, production design. So this, I do believe Denis Villeneuve, I can't say his name very well. I do believe his movie is supposed to be just the same as the book, just his adaptation of it. And this is kind of like an adaptation of an area that they haven't really explored yet. There is the Butlerian Jihad books from Brian Herbert, but I think this takes place right after that. I'm not sure if there is actual books for this material. Let me know down in the comments below if that is incorrect. But there may have been references to the characters in this show in those books, but I don't think the story itself is told. I think it is brand new. But Femel's character, he is a question mark, man. He kind of acts like the same character in all the movies and stuff I've seen him in. I've only seen him in Vikings, Warcraft, and this, so forgive me if he's done other stuff, but he's a wild card, man. He really is. There's something behind his eyes that's just like pretty ferocious, pretty crazy. And that could be hinting at a couple of things. Again, if you watch Quinn's ideas, could be pretty freaking wild. Now, the story does seem to care more about plot versus character, which makes me worried. I'm a character person. I need to attach to somebody. I like a story being told of this happening, but at a certain point, it kind of does feel like a history lesson, but I love history, so. And when I saw the exposition dump at the beginning, I'm like, oh no, here we go. Looks cool, but here we go. And then we get into it a little bit more, but I haven't attached to any characters as of yet. They try to have a couple of moments with the Emperor and his wife. They try to have some human moments with the daughter, kind of like acting out before she goes to the Bene Gesserit school. But I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time attaching to the characters so far. We're gonna have to wait and see for episode 2, but the acting's okay. The production design is brilliant. It looks expensive, and it looks pretty close to the movies. I mean, the movies are like a war movie, so this is the political side of that. And I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing with, of course, the next movie, because that one's political as well. Yeah, so far, I'm okay with it. I'm tentatively excited for the next episode. I'm trying not to let what anybody else says get into my frame of mind or anything like that. I'm just trying to judge it for its own thing, so. Spoiler free, that's basically my own thoughts, my first thoughts on it. But again, if you're a Dune fan, you'd probably be worth the watch. If you're a normie, maybe wait it out. It's up to you though. If it interests you, watch it. It's only an hour. Sci-fi Game of Thrones is trying to spoiler talk. So this is definitely a world based on technology. It's not a world based off of magic like Game of Thrones is. This is all technologically based. It's all, so them burning, the child and the Bene Gesserit burning. I'm not sure how it's possible. I'm not sure how Femel's character is doing it, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be the mystery. Now, does that mystery really pull me in? not really. I mean, it's Dune universe, so some stuff's pretty wacky, but it doesn't really pull me in. Again, it's still lacking the characters. But all that stuff was kind of crazy to see, and they did a great job. It looks amazing. I think again, the production value is insane. What does that vision mean too, and the blue eyes? Because if you know anything about the future, that could be someone looking back from the future. Just saying, that could be, which is cool. Like, this is what Dune is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about mind bending, time manipulation, that kind of stuff, looking into the future, looking into the past, and crazy sci-fi technology and environmentalism, of course. Politics in with that too. You know, these different houses, how are they going to wrestle around the emperor and the power of Arrakis, that kind of thing. Does House Carino end up leaving Arrakis? Like, right now they're in charge of it, it seems, and he's the emperor, so it's possible that that's how he hands it off to a different house. And you see some of the Harkonnen, which is kind of crazy. You see the Baron of Harkonnen right here, and he's not some floaty, baldy dude. He looks like a normal guy, and I think that's because their planet is just normal right now before it's tainted. It might be a brutal planet, but it's pretty cool. So like, all of it, world building, setting up the universe, it's cool, but again, there's nothing attaching me to these characters. I'm having a hard time. So yeah, that's basically spoiler talk. I don't know what else to really talk about spoilers. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the first episode of Dune Prophecy. I'll probably be checking this out weekly, so let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you like it? Do you not like it? And if you like the video, feel free to subscribe. Also, feel free to smash the like button. It really does help out the channel get pushed out to new people, new friends.